Emperor Charles is a meddler. He's all the way over there in London, and he's trying to control what happens in the USA. And he can only make things more chaotic because he's all the way over there in London and he doesn't understand what's happening here. So Emperor Charles destabilized and attacked my father and made things worse for my father. Because the Americans are going to defend their own sovereignty. And so when the British start meddling with their intelligence agency, the American intelligence agency will sabotage the British operation. So Emperor Charles cannot control things from London, and when he tries, things get worse in America. And it was Emperor Charles who wanted to make Barack Obama the president. And that created a lot of chaos. Barack Obama was not ready to be president, and the African Americans society was not ready to have one of their own be a president of the United States. Emperor Charles brought that on us. Emperor Charles has been breathing down our necks for a long time because he's obsessed with controlling people who are out of his reach. He was a young man. Emperor Charles was a young man when things were chaotic in my father's gated community. And Emperor Charles was inexperienced, and he was caught up in the, and so was Donald Trump, young Donald Trump, caught up in the narrative. Oh, these little girls are getting abused by this terrible colored man. And I guess I was between the ages of 3 and 8 years old, and maybe I was 7 years old, maybe I was 5 years old, and they got me involved with little white girls, and I didn't know the difference between myself and them. I thought I was pure white. And so these young wealthy men, Emperor Charles and Donald Trump, are being informed by the Jews there's something happening in that gated community with the hippie cult leader. There's something happening there. There's group sex. There's children involved in group sex. And so these guys are assholes. Donald Trump and Emperor Charles. And Emperor Charles is all the way in London and hasn't got a clue what's happening. So anyway, it's terrible to have to deal with someone uninformed who's hereditary wealthy and has nothing but time on his hands to attack. And he's also the one behind Elon Musk, not only Barack Obama. So Emperor Charles is leader George Bush looks up to. Barack Obama cooperates with Emperor Charles, and he's a henchman of Emperor Charles, and Elon Musk is a henchman of Emperor Charles in London. And he only makes things worse because he doesn't understand what's happening here. And the British want more encryption. More encryption causes more chaos, and it only helps the terrorists and the gangsters. Emperor Charles hasn't got a clue how to make policy. And I said, ultimately, when things are going bad in the USA, you have to let people self-segregate into enclaves. You have to allow some segregation naturally to occur, not to force people to be segregated, but to allow them in limited territories to choose it. And Emperor Charles would never say that. I denied slavery. Emperor Charles would never say that because he's clinging to his crown. He's clinging to his throne, his palace. So he would never take any risks. He's just an idiot and a meddler, and he makes things worse. And he hasn't got a clue what to do.